I'm just going to treat you, my podcast listener, all over the world, like you're one of my clients today and talk to you about some of my favorite Buddhist teachers and their teachings and how it can help you with your urges and your emotional hunger and what it is and what to do about it. Because the reason you eat when you're not hungry is usually because of urges and or emotional hunger. And emotional hunger is basically an emotion. And when we're talking about emotional hunger, we're usually talking about negative emotional hunger that goes from 0 to a -10, -10 being the worst, 0 being neutral. We're talking about a number, and we're also talking about urges, which is a feeling, emotional hunger, an urgent desire, the desire to do something or eat something when you don't want to be doing it. And what I want to talk to you about today is bring in two of my favorite teachers and how I talk to my students and my clients today about how to handle your urges and your emotional hunger based on 5,000-year-old teachings. You do not have to be a Buddhist in order for you to hear this information and use this information. I do not consider myself a Buddhist, but I do consider myself a student of Buddhist learning. Two of my favorite teachers are Pema Chodron and Kristin Neff. Now, one of the books that I recommend in my group classes and with my personal private clients is Pema Chodron's book on taking the leap. And it's really a wonderful book because one of the things that she talks about, and she uses this Buddhist term called shenpa. And shenpa basically is a hook or a pull that you feel inside your body to do something that you wish you wouldn't do. So we call it a hook or shenpa, or what I call it, an urge. And I'm just doing what 5,000-year-old teachings are teaching. I'm using that with urges. Now, I have many ways of teaching about urges. And the first thing I want you to know is all an urge is its negative emotional hunger. It can be a strength from a 0 to a -10. And you feel it in your body. And you can either feel it in your body or give into it by putting something in your mouth or doing something, being hooked, that is not going to give you the result that you want. And those are urges or urgent desire. And emotional hunger can be an urge, or it can also just be sadness, depression, anger, and it goes from a 0 to a -10 too. -10 is the strongest that you could possibly feel, and 0 is neutral. And what I always teach is being able to decide how strong any of this is. Now, when we're learning from Pema Chodron in her book, Taking the Leap, and talking about shenpa, what she's talking about is what to do when you feel this hook. And I'm telling you what to do when you feel an urge. And I'm just following Pema's 3 steps that she has in her book, Taking the Leap on shenpa. And I know she doesn't mind if I use it as long as I tell you it's from her. She's like one of my very, very favorite teachers, and she's written so many books, and she just has a way of explaining things in a way that just makes sense. So let's just say you're having an urge for I'm just going to say cookie. Or for me, in the old days, it was potato chips. And the thought that I have on what's creating this urge is I love potato chips and I can't stop eating them. And when I think this to myself, it gives me this urgent desire to want to eat potato chips. So thoughts create urges. Thoughts create emotions or feelings. So what Pema says is when you're in the middle of feeling this hook or this urge, the first thing that you do is you become aware that you're feeling it. So you would just say to yourself, I'm feeling an urge. So basically, you're pausing first and you're becoming aware that you're feeling this urge for potato chips, for cookies, a thought that's creating this feeling. Once you notice that you're feeling it, you feel it. And then for 3 seconds, just 3 seconds, you let yourself feel it. You feel where it is in your body and you let yourself feel it. So for me, when I'm feeling an urge, I usually feel it like right in my diaphragm, and it's like a buzzing feeling. And it can be very strong or it can be very weak. And that's when we decide to give it a number, 0 to a -10. Now, in taking the leap, all Pema says is to notice I'm feeling an urge, then feel it for 3 seconds, pause for 3 seconds to feel it. Now, this is the interesting thing that she says, and I want to impart this to you, that after you give yourself 3 seconds with this pause, maybe you won't eat it or maybe you will eat it. But either way, you have just taught your brain something about these feelings, which is you can stay with it. She talks a lot about staying with emotions and staying with an urge, not just reacting to it. So 3 seconds is a long time when you're feeling this. And after the 3 seconds, if you've eaten it or not, her recommendation, step number 3, is just move on. No drama. Don't make a big deal about it if you've eaten it or not. You have done the work on becoming aware of what an urge feels like, or in her language, what shenpa feels like and what it can do. And it also helps strengthen your brain into pausing. So she's very, very big in pausing. I'm very, very big in pausing. And I think if you can pause or stop for just a second and notice what's going on, and you're not gonna die. Your brain, the information your brain is giving you, this is going to kill you. You better eat it because it feels strong in your body, depending on how strong it is. But when you can sit with it, regardless if you eat it or not, you've just shown yourself that you can do it for a little bit and it's okay. You're still alive. And I think if you do this often, if you practice this, you will get better and better at number 1, feeling urges and letting them go and not creating a lot of drama around them. So when I'm working with my students or my clients, we have what we call an urge worksheet, which is not Pema's design. That's my design, but it's based on realizing the thought that creates the urge and the thought that resists the urge, or kind of, it's like you know what you're thinking and then you decide to think something different that makes you let it go. So for interest, for one way of thinking this is just think of it like this, like with potato chips. My unmanaged thought, or my thought that's creating the urge, is I love potato chips. How many people think that and don't realize that it's creating this feeling inside of their bodies to do something that they don't want to do? Like, I love potato chips is not a fact. It's just something you've been thinking for so long that you think when it pops up, you should react to it. But what you could say to yourself is, I love my husband and I don't love potato chips. I mean, just something simple like that. It's like, keep the love for the people that are good in your life and not for the things that you don't want. So, like potato chips can taste good, but I don't have to eat them. Might be a really good managing thought for that, as opposed to I love them, I have to eat them. So if the unmanaged thought is I love them, the managed thought can be I can love my husband, but I don't have to love potato chips. At least I've used that before. Or it's, you know, I can save my love for things that are going to give me good things. Potato chips don't give me anything good, right? They're not my friend. Could be another managing thought. Sometimes we think that these foods are like our friends. I've had clients say to me, I'm breaking up. They've written me notes about how they're breaking up with their best friend, potato chips or cookies or whatever it is. It's like we don't quite see what's going on because it's going on so fast. So take Pema's advice if you're talking about shenpa and pause and be aware and give yourself 3 seconds and then do not dramatize it. Okay? So that's the first thing you can do with urges. Now, let's talk about another emotion, sadness, anger, fear, or urges. Kristin Neff, in her book, Self-Compassion, has 3 steps for how to help yourself have more compassion for yourself. Self-compassion. And I know most of you know how to have compassion for other people, but not as much practice with having compassion for yourself. So here are Kristin Neff's 3 steps for how to have more compassion for yourself. And I certainly believe that you can use them for urges. So the first thing is, I had to look at it. The first thing is that you want to recognize that this is suffering. I'm suffering. You can put your hand on your heart and you can just say, this is suffering, or I am suffering. Just like that, you become aware of the feeling, of the anger, of the sadness, whatever it is that's causing negative emotion. You just sit with it for a second, and it's almost like giving yourself a hug. So first you say, this is suffering. Now, the second thing is, and this is really, really important, especially when it comes to the topics that I talk about a lot, which is losing weight, becoming friends with your body, with making yourself a priority, is to realize that we are more alike than we are different. It's to stop feeling alone. So she calls it common humanity, that you can say to yourself, sweetheart, so many people feel just like you. So many people are going through the same thing that you're going through. You are not alone. And I think it helps. They use it a lot of this common humanity to realize that there are so many people just like me. It is not just me. Sometimes we feel so alone and don't realize that so many people are suffering just like we are. And when we can do that, and we're holding our heart, and we're holding space for ourselves, it can make such a difference. And the third step that she uses is that once you realize that you tell yourself this is suffering, you're aware and you name it. Now, the suffering can be an urge. I really believe you can call it, this is suffering, this is an urge. And number 2, that common humanity, it's like there are a lot of people just like you that are having urges just like you and who want to stop feeling helpless, who want to feel like they're more in control. There are so many people just like you. I am not alone. You are not alone, depending if you're talking to you or you're talking about you to yourself. I am not alone. Many people are just like me. Many people have urges just like me. And then the third step is how to talk to yourself as your most beloved, how to talk to yourself as your own best friend, right? Because sometimes when we talk to ourselves, we use the worst language and we say the meanest things. It makes us feel worse and we don't realize it. We think we're helping ourselves by being mean. We think we're helping ourselves by punishing ourselves. And what Kristin Neff says is that actually it does just the opposite. And that we know how to have compassion for our friends and what we would say to one of our friends if they felt out of control, or if they were feeling sad, or they were feeling angry. you would hold space for them. You would ask them, what do you need? How can I help you? Right? You wouldn't say anything that would make them feel worse. You know that. It's like, how can I make them feel better? What can I say to them? That's how you talk to yourself, as if you were your own best friend, as if you were your most beloved. This is from Kristin Neff in her book, Self Compassion. My two favorite Buddhist teachers, Kristin Neff and Pema Chodron. Now, they've both written more books, but these are still my favorite books. And if you can learn how to give yourself self compassion and you can learn how to feel your negative emotions with great love, including urges, it's almost like you're helping your own best friend, you. Start practicing talking to yourself as if you loved yourself, as if you liked yourself, as if you were trying to help yourself. It can make such a big difference for you, such a big difference. So this week, that's all I'm asking you to do. Treat yourself as your most beloved. Be aware of what your feelings are. Take a few seconds and feel what you're feeling. Don't get really dramatic about it. And give yourself space and call it what it is. If it's suffering, this is suffering. If it's an urge, this is an urge. And realize you are not alone. There are so many people just like you, more people like you than not like you. We are so much more alike than we are different. And take care of yourself. Be your own best friend right now. Treat yourself as your own beloved. Treat yourself as a person that you loved, as like another family member. If they were going through a hard time, would you want to make them feel worse or would you try to help them feel better? Do that for yourself. And I promise you, you will feel better. You'll have a better week. And lo and behold, you can lose weight too. So I would not end this podcast without first saying to you, no matter where you go or who you're with, please, please, please be very, very kind to yourself. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.